پروفسور مریم میرزاخانی که در سال 2014 جایزه مؤسسه ریاضی کلی را دریافت کرده بود، مرداد ماه همان سال به همراه دو ریاضیدان جوان دیگر به عنوان برنده مدال فیلدز 2014 معرفی شد. مدال فیلدز که معادل جایزه نوبل در رشته ریاضیات تلقی می شود، هر 4 سال یک بار به برترین ریاضیدانان زیر 40 سال جهان اعطا می شود. وی به عنوان یکی از 10 ذهن جوان برگزیده سال 2005 از سوی نشریه پاپیولار ساینس در آمریکا و به عنوان ذهن برتر در رشته ریاضیات تجلیل شد. میرزاخانی که متولد تهران است، در سالهای 1373 و 74 در زمان تحصیل در دبیرستان با کسب مدال طلای المپیاد ریاضی کشوری به المپیاد جهانی ریاضیات در هنگ کنگ و کانادا اعزام شد که در المپیاد 1995 کانادا علاوه بر کسب مدال طلا حائز بالاترین امتیاز در بین دانش آموزان جهان شد. پروفسور مریم میرزاخانی در سال 2017 و در سن 40 سالگی بر اثر بیماری سرطان فوت کرد. وی اولین زن در تاریخ و اولین ایرانی است که برنده مدال فیلدز، معتبرترین جایزه ریاضی در جهان شده است. در سایت نهاد زنان سازمان ملل به نقل از مرحوم میرزاخانی درباره علاقه او به علم ریاضی اینگونه نوشته شده: هرچه وقتم را بیشتر صرف ریاضی می کنم، بیشتر هیجان زده می شوم. هیجان کشف و لذت بردن از چیزهای جدید، احساسی شبیه به بودن بر بالای قله و داشتن دیدی واضح از آنجا را به من می دهد. روز 22 اردیبهشت مصادف با روز تولد مریم میرزاخانی از سوی اتحادیه بین المللی انجمنهای ریاضی جهان با پیشنهاد کمیته بانوان انجمن ریاضی ایران به عنوان روز جهانی زن در ریاضیات نامگذاری شده است. چندین سازمان از جمله انجمن زنان اروپایی در ریاضیات، انجمن جهانی زنان در ریاضیات، زنان آفریقایی در انجمن ریاضیات، انجمن زنان هندی و ریاضیات و نیز گروه زنان ریاضیدان شیلیایی از پیشنهاد ایران حمایت کردند. کارگروه زنان حزب مشروطه ایران لیبرال دمکرات نیز این روز ارزشمند را به افتخار نام این بانوی ایرانی امروز 22 اردیبهشت مصادف با 12 می روز زنان در ریاضیات و روز جهانی مریم میرزاخانی را پاس می‌دارد. یادشان گرامی باد.
My half circles here, and I added this half circles which depended on A1 to AN, but that basically A1 to AN determines a shape like this. I wasn't very good at math even. I mean, in middle school 1 year, I didn't even do well in math because I was basically not very interested. I was mostly interested in reading novels and books when I was younger, and I even remember the time that I would every night tell myself some stories, and night after night I would continue the stories. I thought one day I'll become a writer.
از زمانی که به خصوص مریم و ریاضیبهشتی با هم افتادن و با هم تیم شدن، برای بعضی که سالایی که خیلی سطح بالاتر از کلاس بود که اینا رو به اصطلاح وادار کنیم به اینکه همدیگر رو همپوشانی کنن.
Students from all the different school districts of Tehran would take an entrance exam, and then the top maybe 90 or 100 of them would get in.
When we entered high school, I decided math because I liked, and the high school really supported us with resources, teachers, because this school is where Mirzakhani rised from.
Mariam and I met in 1988. We had just started middle school, and we became close friends quickly, and we continued to share a desk for the next 7 years, middle school and high school.
The fact that women are on par with men, at least in terms of abilities, is not new in Iran. I think that aspect has been and is reflected by the composition of the students in universities in Iran today.
In the higher education, we have almost more than 50% of girls. At Sharif, more than 40% freshman students are the girls.
Women in Iran are not a privileged group, so they have to try to find a better social situation by entering into art, in science. To belong to a disadvantaged group has this advantage that you are forced to work hard.
People are different and there are different styles of doing math, but if you want to get a reasonable, good idea, you have to really spend a lot of time just thinking patiently and not getting disappointed somehow, coming back to the same problem and staying somehow confident that maybe one day you will have a good idea.
Rather than asking questions, she would start describing sort of elaborate stories or mathematical narratives. And these narratives were very ambitious and speculative. They were almost like science fiction. She could make these very vague speculations about the shape of the unknown mathematical frontier, quite elaborate and detailed in imagining how things might fit together. And she was very adept at finding the right question. And I think this came from this sort of speculative intuition that she had. She would sort of think ahead as to what the shape of the theory might be that was yet to be discovered.
We got wind of her thesis and her achievements at Princeton and quickly realized this is somebody we have to recruit.
She got a very prestigious postdoc position, the Clay Fellowship, and she decided to go to Princeton with it.
So I first met her at Princeton when she was a postdoc and I was a visitor at the Institute of Advanced Study. We kind of hit it off right away. I mean, I really enjoyed talking to her. We started collaborating. She was absolutely amazingly brilliant, obviously. She was very young. She already had quite a bit of success, but she was somehow it didn't quite go to her head. She was still the nicest person I've ever met. She came to Chicago once when we tried to hire her, and that coincided with the biggest storm in the history of the city. Temperature was somehow something like 20 below or something like this. She never came back.
Actually, before she left Princeton, we had already promoted her to tenure for various reasons, the usual two-body problem. She moved to Stanford, where they made her a permanent offer.
She was so friendly, and she just instantly was like peppering me with questions about how you manage life as a parent and as a mathematician.
She was very much devoted to Anahita, and family in general meant very much to her.
Meriem had a lot of things happen in her life. She got pregnant, she had a baby, and then in the final stages, like once we already, I think, gotten over the main hump, she was actually diagnosed with cancer.
Sadly, Mariam got sick just before Anahita turned 2. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then the sequence of treatments, surgeries. If she had to choose between doing her job on a given day and doing something important for Anahita, she would actually pick Anahita.
She stayed very positive. After her treatments, we thought that she was completely recovered. She started to again focus on work.
I think right after her thesis, everybody was saying that this person should win a Fields Medal.
There was definitely buzz in the air that Mariam was a candidate for the Fields Medal.
She was among the most outstanding young mathematicians we were considering, and it's clear from the outcome she did make the final very short list.
We have our 4th Fields Medalist, Meriem Mirzakhani, for her outstanding contributions to the dynamics and geometry of Riemann surfaces and their moduli spaces.
It was fantastic that Meriem was awarded the Fields Medal and became the first woman to be so recognized. So it was a great moment when she actually was able to attend the ceremony, receive the Fields Medal from the President of Korea. And she brought her family with her, Jan and Anahita, and they were sitting in the front row when I was giving the laudation.
I think mathematics is, in my opinion, necessary for all the advancements in sciences and technology. So
she had told me very early on she didn't want to give a whole series of interviews, and we both knew, I mean, the first woman to get a Fields Medal, that this would be something that everybody would want to talk about.
We are here this year.
Ingrid Dobeschies, who was the president of the International Mathematical Union at the time, organized a group of women who would surround Meriem kind of wherever she went and protect her.
We formed what we call the Shield, the Meriem Mirzakhani Shield. Whenever Meriem was coming out publicly at ICM, two people of our little group would be with Meriem. One of them could intercept a journalist and said, "Oh, you're very interested in women in mathematics. Let me tell you about my career," and so on, while the other one could escort Meriem discreetly.
the most satisfactory part of the teaching for me comes from discussing things with students outside of the classroom, more than covering a certain material during the lecture. I think it will change after some time, but it's not something that would change in 2 or 3 or 5 years. It can take decades, but things like this change, and there are examples of these kind of changes.
In April of 2016, she was diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer. She knew that she didn't have much time left.
She started an experimental treatment in New York, which was quite successful at first.
I thought that she was so decided to overcome the illness. I was sure till the very last moment that she would manage it, that nobody else would manage, but she would manage it.
These are pictures from the last time I visited her. We discussed math, we discussed life, we discussed the cancer, we discussed everything. She was still funny, she was silly, she was goofy. She had a sense of humor about everything. If you look at the picture, you see a person full of life, full of energy. I do miss her all the time. Yes.
Most of what I did for maybe a very long time was essentially collaborate with her, and so now she's gone, and I mean, it's very difficult.
It was just a tremendous loss. I miss that powerful voice that she had. She was just pure good.
I knew her from the time when she was not that famous and she didn't change. She was just a very good person.
In 2019, Alex Eskin's collaboration with Mirzakhani on the magic wand theorem earned him the Breakthrough Prize, one of the highest honors in mathematics and science.
The Breakthrough Prize in Mathematics is awarded to Alex Eskin.
I'm extremely honored and humbled to receive the Breakthrough Prize. And I'm deeply in debt to my late co-author, Meriem Mirzakhani. Without her brilliance, strength, and persistence, the work recognized by the prize committee could not have been done.
It's our great honor to announce that beginning next year, the Breakthrough Prize Foundation will establish a new award, the Meriem Mirzakhani New Frontiers Prize.
The amazing thing about Meriem is that she was just getting started. This was just the beginning. 10 years of work is nothing for a mathematician. There would have been so much more to come.